Hello there, pirate friends, crypto friends, price chart friends, Komodo friends, Bitcoin friends, friends of all kinds. Welcome, one and all. And thanks for joining me. I'm E. Giuliano, and it's 20th of May. Well, in UTC, we're nearing the end of the day. And we're going to look at the price charts. It's been quite some crypto times these last couple of days. And I would like to just briefly talk about it. There's a lot of great information out there, and I would like to share some of my thoughts. So thanks for joining and watching this video all the way through, and thanks for sharing it, but really, most importantly, thanks for liking the video and commenting. I really appreciate the comments. And yeah, here we go. We've got this roof overhead, interesting distribution, dump down. Now, if you can tell, this is the BTC USD price chart. Welcome. We've dumped down below the rainbow of excitement and exuberance. Now, this is a weekly chart. I was concerned about how long things might last. I'm not sure where prices might go. I still am not. None of this is financial advice, but I'm interested to see now that really, like, we could stand to close at a 30,000, 33,000 level and still be quite on track. And on a weekly time frame with some of the indicators, that could clear a bit of the action out. I'm not saying we're going up next week or even in a month, maybe 3. And that brings me to the monthly chart. But I just wanted to point out that already on the weekly RSI, it has come from top and we are halfway down. So there's nothing saying that we need to go all the way down in a continued bull market. In fact, we probably want to stay higher than the March 2020 low, but you never know, who knows, right? And MACD, it's a little bit more of a challenge to envision this one clearing out with time, but it does happen, and it is a lagging indicator, and depending what's happening here, the indicators might not matter as much as the price itself. Now, this means, okay, fine, we could still close lower and it could spend months down, sideways, whatever that may be. I wanted to see, though, that on this monthly chart, well, what have we here? We have this big rounded dump. Okay, what happened here? I'm looking here at these indicators, RSI down below, MACD, particularly RSI. Already, we have reached into the regular zone, not the overbought zone anymore. Okay, I'm sorry if I don't know the particular terminology for this one, but basically we are back in our band of normal purchasing, strength index. But of course, it's all relative, so we're still at the very high end. And yeah, we could definitely stand to come down a bit more. Now, what it made me think of was, okay, things seem to be quite big and bombastic in this move, in this bull run. And what I'm noticing is, okay, so we have something like this back here. I'm actually noticing this here, which was back in the 2013 situation where people have talked about the possibility of something similar, where it topped and then continued for a higher run. It topped April, bottomed June of 2013, began another impulse, really, you could say, if you wanted to, in June. So, really a couple months later, but if you really want to talk about breaking the highs and being more confident, you're talking about September. But then that only lasted another 2 months. So careful here. But if you look at the RSI, that's the kind of action that was accompanying it, where the big dump down, touching around the line. But this one, look how much faster it came down. Interestingly, it didn't take an extra month. Here, it took 1 month just between April and May for the RSI only to move just a slight bit, like 95 to 90-ish, you know, and then it came all the way back down. Whereas here, it just in one move in 1 month from April to May this year. Interestingly, yeah, the months are playing out to be the same. So let's see what happens. Maybe June is a decent month for us, but I don't know. We'll see. July definitely feels like it on the charts in terms of space and time, especially when we start looking at Pirate. So just a thought here. We've got this dump here in the monthly RSI, and it goes back up and it creates higher highs. Same thing over here back in the previous bull run of February peak, and then March down, and then back up for May, June, July, August, down September, and then up again in December until we finally break back down into the band. So there you go. That's something possible as well, and that's relative to this price action up here. Okay, but in terms of movements, this one looks similar, more like this, and in terms of this action here too, it looks a bit more like that. But we'll see how it plays out. But in that case, though, based on these indicators and the overall sentiment and activity, it seems like it's definitely possible for this to not be too prolonged, more than, let's say, a couple months max. Then again, maybe it goes into September, October before the real movement happens, and that's also proportional as well. But it doesn't feel like it's going to be another year or more. It's not like that kind of situation right now. Then again, we are dealing with a big composite operator, and indeed manipulators and big players and those who can really prey on the psychology of the market, well, they are here to play for sure. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we need to be careful. We need to think well. We need to understand the low and high areas and buy and sell accordingly if we are playing that game. In BTC, yeah, we have here the candles, and on a more local frame here, we're still struggling. So just so you know, in terms of actual closing of the chart even for this week, or let's say next week might be more reasonable, it could be down in the 32 level. So at which, wherever it might correspond to a previous strong support resistance area, which is, yeah, like around 34 or 32, it could close like that, and that might be better overall in a certain sense, because it would really provide, again, on the weekly frame, when we think about closure, if it's not this week, great, and then next week and it closes somewhere around here, I think that makes it a stronger case for a bit of sideways and or up. Now, these are weeks, so maybe we're talking, a couple weeks, maybe we're talking a couple weeks, maybe more, but weeks turn into months, and eventually it's the end of July, and we're only over here on this chart. Okay, so let's see how this thing plays out, but it's definitely big and choppy, and it has a lot of potential to wreck a lot of people, and it already has wrecked a lot of people. And so I just, for some people, these are really horrible times, and I'm feeling for you. All right, I really am. Now, what I'd like to do here, continuing, is to just look at the BTC level here on this 4-hour chart. That looks like a important support region, where if it is going to break down below, we might want to be looking at accepting some lower levels, and it's going to be around the 12,000 Satoshi level. Okay, and it is important to hold. One thing I really like about this 4-hour candle for the pirate is this 4-hour situation here on the dump day. Okay, on the 19th of May, between the 8 a.m. and the 12 p.m. Noon candles in the UTC time. Again, though, we're showing the weakness. We're not able to to really penetrate. This cloud is definitely going to be there. Let's see though what happens into May. This is the RBTC chart, but really in terms of closure here, again, with line chart closure, let's just look at the daily candle here first. Okay, indecision candle, it is painting green for now. We're not going to stick around for the close, but it is an indecision sideways candle. It does look like it wants to hover above the line, but really weakness is abounding. And, you know, it's just time. Just because it's not happening today doesn't mean that this is not going to impulse one more down and like close around here, maybe around 11,000-ish level, maybe close down here around 10 or even lower. Yeah, and we could even make it all the way down to an 8,000 type of level and still be pretty clean overall. It would still follow with the basic sense of where is this going to go. It is like a weak flat pattern, and so in that sense, since it is so weak, we could imagine that it might break below the 10,000, which is the bottom of the first A wave, and really that means, let's say for example, you might be familiar with this, but if we take this tool of the Fibonacci extension and compare this potential C wave here with the A wave, and you know, we're not gonna do like a huge extension, but even a 1618 brings us to a near a 5,000 Satoshi level. That would be an extremely elongated. I don't think we can really, well, because here, if we're here, then we're all the way down here. This is just an up and down area. That's what we got to be worried about here on a weekly level. You know, below this kind of 10,000 Satoshi level is just up and down. So, well, really just up. We haven't even done the down yet. We want to be aware of these lines, of these breakpoints. If it does start breaking the 12,000 level, just hold your hats and be aware of the potential for the downside risk right now in Pirate Chain. However, overall, the bias is still strong and up in my uneducated, unprofessional opinion. And we're back into the Bollinger Band on the weekly frame. Twice now, once here and then a little test and then now here. And this feels good to me. I don't know why, but it does. And I hope you also feel comfortable and confident about all of this, okay? If not, well, put yourself into a position where you can feel comfortable and confident about all this, okay? That's the RBTC on the charts. Okay. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to show one thing here. Oops. And it's just the RSI. So it does have some need to come back down. But again, on a weekly level, it could still pump a few times and be part of a bigger bull cycle. And then you better watch out because crash time. That's what we're looking for and hoping for, but we're also preparing for the worst. So have your plan. That's the main thing. If you haven't a plan yet, then gather the plan. And if you have any thoughts or comments you want to share about that, please definitely do in that comment section. And now finally here, our USD chart. Wow, so here we are. It's interesting to say though, I've kept this line here, this peachy line, since I was expecting this kind of zigzag formation, okay? And it's playing out, so yeah, definitely room for a close around this $5 or even $4.50 level before we can figure out where we're going next, all right? So again, plan accordingly. It's not guaranteed, but within the end of this week and into next week, yeah, let's see what's gonna do. If we can maintain these levels though, even the 4.5 level, then we're good. We're sideways, and then we're ready for more of eventually. Patience is the name of the game, but also, yeah, a good plan. All right, and basically a good plan would mean that you are well balanced in your holdings, okay, including everything. All right. Anyway, I hope you're keeping well and you keep moving. I just want to check out this candle here. Keep hydrated and all that good stuff, okay? Because it helps to keep your sanity just even a little clearer. Getting good rest and all these things, it just makes all of the bad days a little less worse, even though they're still pretty bad, it feels like. And remember, again, even detaching a bit from those feelings, recognizing the psychology of everything and what part of it is real and what part of it isn't, okay? Because that can also be helpful. And the part that isn't real is all the numbers that you see going up and down that you never really realize. And what is real is the plan that you have and the way that you execute it, okay? Alrighty then. Okay, folks, so yeah, and again, have something down set in the $3 level, because as you see in this candle, it's definitely possible. And if we're talking about daily line chart closes, we could definitely see again another further impulse down and a closing in this 3.5 level, although that's definitely a weak level. I do not like that level for closing, in which case you might be looking at like a into the 2s for that action. Okay, so say your prayers, folks, and yeah, be prepared for the worst and hope for the best, and plan, plan for the best too. Like that's part of the planning, is you're planning for the best and the worst. All right, awesome. But we're starting to squeeze here. We have been squeezing. We broke to the downside once. I think we're going to test it again and break down, and that would mean we'll probably didn't break down further with a bigger impulse. Okay, and this is a daily chart, so watch out next day or two. Okay, let's see, day or 3 or 4. Maybe it's into next week. Maybe it's a bit sideways first and then a final dump down, and we can confirm here on the on the weekly chart if it's like here or something like that. We will check and see. Yeah, something like that. This is the week of 24th May, so that would have been that week. And if it was a bit later than that, then it would show up, let's say, a week of 31 May. So maybe it's something like that. Again, that plays out with the 2 weeks that I was mentioning with the BTC and how that's going. And again, even like beginning June, all these things kind of flattens out a bit. Yeah. And then, into June halfway, even into July, again, like July also makes sense in terms of shape. If this is what we're looking at, in fact, July makes big sense. And maybe that means its first is down like this or this or this, and then maybe it's a little up and another little down, just like we saw on the daily chart. Oops, oops, or on any chart. I messed that one up. Just like we saw on the daily chart here, with this up and down, and then up again, and then down again, and then up again, and then even more down. Well, yeah, similarly, although we're seeing a different pattern, because this seems more like a zigzag pattern, and in the, what I like is that, well, here we're showing that zigzag pattern too, but at least on the BTC chart, it's showing more of a flat pattern. So that makes me feel more confident about the BTC pattern, showing a bit more strength as a flat. But then again, the C wave could show weakness anyway, and it's a weak flat. So really, I shouldn't even talk like that. I feel like overall, there's a bit of potential here for the lower ends on probably on all the altcoins. You know what? At the end of the day, it's probably not that much different than another season where BTC just starts ramping up, roaring, and everything kind of gets pulled along, but their altcoin BTC chart gets wrecked a bit, and the BTC dominance kind of goes the opposite way in favor of BTC, and noticeably, and so that's also part of the game. So yeah, recognize that part of the game. I'm seeing this. I can handle this. Can you handle this halfway through June, and then maybe even into July? But yeah, this I'm good with that. Are you okay with that? However, I will say one thing. This doesn't work for me in the sense that this can't be just one move, okay? Can't be one move. It would have to be a zigzag down and then some other stuff. And honestly, I don't know if we ever close down here in the 3.5 level. Maybe we only close in the 4 region, but we could, candle wick down there, whatever it is. I mean, we already have. Who am I kidding? Yeah. So yeah, what I'm saying is that in order for it to really even make sense proportionally, like the C wave couldn't be too long, although it could be a 1618, which is 1 and 618 of the length of this. So let's say we take the time, fib time. This could show us the fib time of a 1618. Sorry, that would be like a, so 0 to 1 would give us 1, and then to the 2 would be a whole 1 after that, and then to the 2618. So here in 24th May, again, we already have seen this date, would be the 2618, or which would be 1.618 more than this first A wave move in time. Okay, so I like that May 24th date for that reason as well. All right, and that would kind of put us around here. All right, that would be a 1618 time period, interestingly. Oh, sorry, no, it wouldn't. That's because we're also counting, catch my error on the fly, thank goodness. You see this B wave here, intermediate B wave? Yeah, so that wouldn't quite be true. I would need some sort of fib time extension. What I could actually do instead, what I would prefer to do in that case, I'm glad I caught that, is to use the date box here and take number of bars. These are 2 bars, 14 days, and then we'll take another one and we will say that 1618 is going to be 2 bars, which is 1, and then you can't quite do 2/3, but that would be like 3 and a bit. Okay, so let's say 31st May, so into June. So let's give it even, like, just give it an even 4 weeks. Okay, that would be more than 1618. So let's give it just a 3. Okay, so yeah, I definitely like the end of May as like a kind of completion for this wave if we are going up. And if not, that's probably going to confirm that this is going to be a much longer situation into, you know, July, August, September, and really let us know what's happening. And again, the end of May for this is just for this zigzag. We could have a more complex situation. However, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would be more complex because look at everything before. On a weekly scale, these things are not really showing a lot of complexity. And we have this one move up. It's not even, it's like a mono wave. It's not even a poly wave impulse move. So I can't feel it. I don't get it right now in terms of letting it sink in as like some sort of even more complex than just a zigzag. I feel like it could be a zigzag and maybe a bit of like, you know, X wave style, just some random line to get to the next impulse. I can live with that. I can understand that. That would make a lot of sense. But then again, what really does make sense around here, I do not know. Well, one thing that does make sense, I think, is getting one of these. So go ahead and try one on for size. I've just got word that I'm getting the shipment soon. So, well, maybe within these things take a bit longer than expected, I think. I don't know. They check to your fulfillment center and maybe it'll be close enough for you. Yeah, anyway, what am I saying? I've been asked to make a men's shirt with this Pirate Women Light Gray style with the logo. So I'm gonna do that for the men's shirt and you'll see that next time we're up, all right? All right, other than that, I think I've stumbled enough through this video and I hope it's brought you some sort of value, entertainment, education, probably more education rather than entertainment, or maybe you've been laughing at me this whole time. Beauty. All right, well, either way, I hope you come back and check me for the next one as I will be along quite soon. I hope you're well, take care, and love, peace, happiness to you. Bye for now.